how do you create or increase business agility, especially in the workplace? And how do you get people to think about possibilities and move quickly into these possibilities? So today, my topic is on this whole idea of creating, a rapid change by increasing business agility. I wrote a book called Small Steps to Big Changes, which basically shares a lot of insights to how do you create conversations and especially a culture to get people to move forward very fast. Okay, so here's the case for business agility. As we all know that change is happening really rapidly. Every business plan that was drawn out, if you notice, that was drawn out probably in February and March, was abandoned quickly because of COVID concerns, or maybe even government regulations. There's a lot of abortive work. You could be planning right now for a certain project, and then after that you realize that the whole project just morph or change because of the different business environment that's happening. And leaders are trying to react as fast as they can, but sometimes their staff don't understand that. So sometimes they may implement certain ideas or policies. Then after that, the next few weeks, they might just discontinue them. Then sometimes the staff will just look at their leaders and say, can you just make up your mind? Why are you not certain? But because things are changing and rapidly evolving as well. So the question is, how can we take whatever information that comes to us right now and then quickly adapt so that we can serve our clients better? And how do we actually monetize the ideas as well? So my conviction is that whoever is able to react quickly and practice business agility will always enable their business to flourish. For example, F&B, if you're in the F&B industry, if you have not put your services online or enable takeaways, you will definitely be very affected. Even, in my profession, trainers or speakers who are not delivering engaging online programs are not able to survive. Basically, anybody who does not have an online presence sometimes finding it difficult to thrive. So the question is, how do we help people in your organization to constantly adapt to changes so that they can serve the clients at its best possible manner? Okay, so remember, change is happening. So basically, I'm going to right now conduct a very short survey with all of you. If you have a separate electronic device, can you just take it up? Take it out, okay? And then I'll open up your web browser. Basically, I'm going to ask you to fill up this short survey on Mentimeter. Can you open up your web browser right now? Yeah, your web browser. Good. Okay, so with your web browser, and then I want you to go to menti.com, okay, over here. And then menti.com, I want you to use the code 5084242. Basically, to answer this very simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fast is your organization in reacting to changes? Yeah, can you please open up your web browser right now and go to menti.com. Okay, menti.com. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Thank you very much for putting. So 10 means your organization is always, rapidly addressing the needs of the clients or whatever regulations fast. You're able to take all the information and synthesize it to very specific action steps that will serve the interest of your clients fast. Okay, so where do you think you are at? And of course, 1 is the exact opposite. Okay, don't worry about it. There's no right or wrong. We just want to see where are you. Okay, thank you for sharing your honesty. Okay, very good. So we have some groups of people that are at 5, level 5, and some 4, and then some say 3 as well. Okay, I'm just curious. Who else? Okay, we just wait for a short moment. If you've just joined us, please go to menti.com. We are basically polling the audience right now. Okay, and please use the code. They'll ask you a very specific code, 5084242. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fast is your organization in reacting to changes? 10 being absolutely perfect, and one is the exact opposite. Okay, thank you very much for your honesty and sharing as well. So you can see most people have put around 5 and 4, and some put at 3. Okay, I'm just curious. The next question: what are some challenges that hold you back from creating useful change in your organization? Okay, what do you think are some challenges that basically hold you back from implementing or creating useful change in your organization? Can you just type in a short answer, please? Thank you very much. Okay, uncertainty, very good. Okay, yep. Mindset paralysis, yes. Sometimes people think too much, right? Until they get paralyzed. They say, I've thought of the best thing to do. Don't do anything because there's no risk. Okay, skill set of the staff. Yes, sometimes you want them to do new things and then you realize that, wow, they don't have the skill set and it's very difficult to push. Okay, very good. Resistance to change. Okay, Ken, I will address that later. Sometimes you want to change, but then the rest of them look at you and say, you know, I don't think this will work. And then you are the excited one. You're like, go, let's go for it. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes poor communication is another issue as well. You know, leaders are usually generally optimistic, but the question is, how do they communicate the change that makes it optimistic for the rest of people to do it as well? That's a challenge. Red tape, okay, yes, there's sometimes red tape in organizations. Sometimes while you just want to do one thing, you must overcome 10 challenges. Yes, okay. And then also some of you have said your people are afraid of doing new things. Okay, yes, that's why the leader needs to play a very involved role in coming up with ideas. Okay, very good, very good. Too many policies to update. Yes, sometimes you can see in a few span of weeks, right? Every time the government will just give you new updates to the policies and you're just trying to figure out as well. Okay, fair enough. Different opinions, no alignment. Yes, that's right, that's right. And that happens a lot in organizations as well, especially when they have different opinions and then they feel they're stuck, you know, and then the leader really needs to make a very firm decision where to move and what's the next step forward. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for sharing your challenges. I'll be able to address some of them very clearly. Great. Okay, welcome back. So as you can see, you know, there are many different challenges. So I just want to share basically 3 tests that we need to test our organization. Okay, these are basically what I call the business agility test. And this is very important so that you can basically help to start creating higher business agility in your organization. Okay, so what are they? Okay, so the test number 1, okay, is basically to check how fast you can take an idea and reduce time to market. Okay, what do I mean by this? That means you can take an idea and quickly take this idea and then move it quickly to the market and basically be able to monetize the idea. That itself is a constant challenge in a lot of organizations. You know, they have ideas. I think sometimes they don't lack ideas, but they realize that the time to market is very long. Okay, it takes a very long time. So let me share with you what happened in my organization. Okay, so as you know, for me, I'm a speaker. So I speak in very big conferences around the region and sometimes as far as Europe, you know. And so my business model is basically just going out there speaking in large crowds, and then all of these large crowds, you know, is how the way we generate leads as well. Some clients will say, okay, you know, some potential clients say, okay, Kenneth makes sense, I like his idea and his energy, you know, can we get him involved with my organization? So we do very well, you know, very well in the big stage. And this picture was taken, you know, in front of 1,300 people, you know, in the Philippines, where he was amazing, you know, speaking to a large crowd and then getting them excited about the ideas. But as like all of you, my business has totally changed. Okay, right now I appear behind the screen, one small computer screen, and you know, I have to talk and then excite the audience. And you can see and the good thing is we have moved online a lot faster than most people, you know, and then we have actually quite a sophisticated home studio where we have lights, we have the whole computer, then you can see different monitors and everything already. And then of course we have moved also into creating different engagement touch points, where we can excite the clients by using green screen. There are just different ways of creating fun and excitement. And then when people look at our production, it's no longer just a normal Zoom meeting, but they realize that, wow, it's a lot different, and I'm very excited. The question is, how did we manage to pivot and move very fast, okay, through all the changes that is happening? So I just want to share with you some interesting and quick ideas that actually has helped us a lot to quickly take an idea and monetize it. Okay. So and this is what happened. So when circuit breaker came in, Singapore has no lockdown, right? We affectionately call it a circuit breaker. And during this period of time, there was really no face-to-face meetings. The whole economy was on standstill. The only thing that can happen is online. And for a very long time, a lot of people are wondering how to do business. But the good thing is, when my wife and I, in the early stages of the circuit breaker, we just talk to ourselves, where are some gaps, where are some problems right now? And we found that there was actually a lot of difficulty in getting people to present ideas online. And then also to also create engaging conversations or even training programs. Okay, so because remember, we are in the training and speaking industry, so we focus a lot on it. And during this period of time, then we realized, hey, actually there's opportunity to educate teachers, facilitators, lecturers, sales professionals, and even preachers on how to create engaging online experiences. We knew that many people could teach, but when they are online, they make the same mistake as doing the same thing as everything offline. And then they just do everything the same in the offline world and bring it to the online world. So they don't realize that the online audience reacts totally differently. Example, when you're teaching offline, people listen to you, right, when you're speaking or when you're presenting. But in the online world, people are chatting with you. They could be distracted with millions of other things. They could be watching other videos even while listening to you as well. So the question is, how do you grab their attention? How do you manage to connect with them quickly and emotionally on the camera? Okay, so we ran this program to show them various ways to engage their audience. What started off as a simple project to just train 20 to 30 people eventually led to over 4,000 people joining us for the program in just a span of 3 months. Okay, and we were glad that money started coming in. So you know what? It has taught my whole team, right, to run programs, right, that are not just limited by geographical boundaries, but we are limited by our own imagination. So this is important. So I want to share with you what are some design considerations in order for us to create this, and probably you can start recreating possibilities in your organization as well. Okay, so I want to share this. So imagine right now, this is your current state. This is where you are right now. And then you always have a preferred future, right? The future that you want to move towards. And a lot of times we think that it's as easy as a straight line, just go in a straight line. But we all know in life it will never, ever happen like this one. There's always this thing called problems in between. A lot of problems. It's not so simple as I just want to go straight line. There are many, many issues and challenges that is happening. So if you go to a very typical way of solving problems, very typical way, usually when there are problems and issues that happen, most people will usually get diagnostic. They will go down to root cause analysis. What went wrong? How come this happened? Okay, so you realize that you go up and down through the problem. And then after a while, I don't know about you, but when you keep asking a lot of diagnostic questions, example questions like what happened? How come this thing happened? Who did it? And what's holding us back? After a while, you notice that you can actually get into conversations that create a lot of resistance. People get very unhappy. You sometimes get very protective. They just all of a sudden say, are you implying that I'm the problem or the one who caused the problem? And after a while, you realize that it becomes a finger pointing exercise. People justify for poor performance, and then the worst thing is nothing gets done because it's very difficult to move forward. But remember, you had a very, you have a very noble ambition. All you wanted your people is just to get better, to focus on better. But then when we use too much diagnostic language, it actually affects the whole performance, the whole, the whole culture sometimes, because after a while, people are finding people to blame. So this is what I want to suggest to you, to create possibilities, okay, to create rapid change fast, especially in the conversations. I want you to focus on a very different way of talking, and this is the language that we've been working with a lot of organizations, is to basically, rather than talk about what happened in the past, we will not talk about it, but we'll always focus on the preferred future. What is different about this preferred future? So rather than talk about the problem, you can see in the middle, we focus on going straight into the preferred future, because these conversations are always more optimistic. For example, imagine right now, if we start, when things happen, there's problems, then we start focusing on, okay, team, I'm sure we didn't want this problem to happen, right? We wanted something different. I'm just curious, what is something that we want different to have happened? Suppose if things are different right now and we are able to serve our stakeholders well, what will be different and better in the way we work? And all of a sudden, conversations that that are very diagnostic, they don't happen anymore. The people start saying things like, okay, yeah, this should happen, this is what we always wanted to see. And then all the leader needs to do is, okay, tell me more about what will we be doing things in a different manner. When we are doing things differently, what will it be and how will it look like to our clients? And when people start describing things in a preferred future state, all of a sudden you realize that they look at things differently. They don't get frustrated in everything that holds them back, and they engage in a more optimistic conversation as well. So this is something that I need you to take note of. When there are problems, when there are challenges, it's not to get diagnostic, interestingly. And I know a lot of us are trained in a very diagnostic language, and I can understand you, because I was trained as an engineer. The first thing that happened, we will always ask the 5 whys, what happened, who caused it, and so on and so forth. But sometimes these conversations are very retrospective. They are looking in the past, but they don't tell you what to do to move in the future. Sometimes it's not so simple as do the opposite. Okay, so when we focus on conversations that are future oriented, talk about removing obstacles, like what we call the miracle question. Suppose if we're able to serve our clients at the highest level, and we are very happy, very excited, and we're doing things very well, all the processes are there, what will be different in the environment? And I can tell you, all of a sudden you have a very different conversation, a very, very powerful conversation as well, because all of a sudden the conversations with you tend to be very optimistic. Okay, so the next test number 2, okay, test number 2 is to basically analyze how frequent your employees are experimenting with ideas. Yes, always, analyze how many of them are saying ideas, sharing ideas out, and actually implementing or even experimenting it out. That's very important, because anybody can just share an idea, right? But whoever can experiment, take an idea and then just try different ways to do it and make it work, will always have advantage. Facebook has this saying, that a lot of people like to think of ideas, but in Facebook, they have this concept called shipping it out. Yeah, we need to deliver it, whatever ideas, we need to deliver it to the client end of the day. If it's not delivered, technically it's just, an idea, but then there's no commercial value to it. So the problem with today's rapid changing climate, it's not possible to have everything figured out. It's just not possible. Okay, most teams want answers to everything. But we all know it is not possible at all. There are a lot of unknowns, especially in today's business climate. So here are some questions, to overcome this inertia, like some of you have said, right? Or overcome this fear. I want to suggest to you 2 questions that I get teams to constantly ask, and this helps a lot in getting them to be to overcome the feeling of getting locked down, getting frustrated with inertia, but it helps them to start thinking about possibilities. And here are they. Okay, so here are the 2 questions that you can use. The first question: is it safe enough to try? Okay, is it safe to try out? And the second question is basically, is it good for now? Okay, both of them are two different questions, and they address two major pitfalls or two major obstacles that people face. Okay, let me go through one by one. The first one is basically, is it safe enough? It's basically to help you reduce risk. Okay, because a lot of people are very risk adverse, they think that, wow, in order to solve one thing, I need to solve 10 things. Then it's very difficult to just move on. But they're asking this very simple question. Okay, is it safe enough to try right now? Okay, if it's safe, then okay, we know that the risk is minimum level that you can accept, and then we can try it out. Okay, so this is very important. You want to reduce as much perception of risk as possible, especially to your team members. So is it safe enough to try? It's a very useful question. The second question that I love to use is it good enough for now? And this is another important question because it fights against this whole idea of perfection. A lot of people tend to think a lot, and then they want perfect solutions to everything. They don't want any problems to occur, but we all know it's not possible, right? And so it's important to approach something with asking us this simple thing: is it good enough for now? I mean, can we start with something, and then are we happy that it fulfills most, probably like 90% of the time it works really well, or even up to 95%, and then the rest of the 10% we'll test out with different clients, get them to give us feedback so that we know that after a while it will eventually become a fantastic product or service. Okay, so these two questions, is it safe enough to try, and is it good enough? These are very imperative questions that I feel the leaders must constantly ask their people. So as you remember, okay, perfection stands in the way of progression. Yes, I want to say that again. Perfection stands in the way of progression. Can you make things perfect and really well? The answer is yes, but it takes a very long time. And sometimes in this, in the environment where there are so many changes consistently, the question is how much runway do you really have? So I just want to share with you a very interesting story. And this is okay. So what happened is, in front of you is actually it's a green screen actually. You can see that the green screen became a blue object, right? So this is what happened. So we were teaching, we ran a program. Remember, I shared with you this program. And then after that, 4,000 people came to this program on how do you create engaging online experiences, right? And this one of person was a teacher. So she actually heard it, and then she said we were advocating the use of green screen. And but green screen sometimes at the time it was all sold out, just many places were sold out. But we told her that, and the audience, that hey, you can actually get pieces that are green pieces of paper, green pieces of paper, and then stick it to your wall behind you, and then you can function as a green screen. And you know what? Out of so many people, she actually acted on it. And she actually went to Popular. She bought 4 large pieces of green paper, actually, just 4 large pieces of paper. She stuck it behind her, as you can see, at the chair just on your screen on there. And then after that, it became a fabulous green screen, fantastic. And then we also talked to, we should also share with her during our training program how you need to ensure that you have eye level contact. When you talk that time, you need to look straight into the camera, because a lot of people make mistakes by looking at the screen. They don't look at the camera. So when you look at the screen, they don't build human connection. Imagine if a person looks straight into your eyes, you feel connected, right? So so because her table was lower, and then she needed to adjust the height. So we told her you can buy, just put books, stacks of books below your computer. And you know what? In the picture itself, you can see over here, what she did was she actually took an ironing board, the ironing board. Why? Because it's adjustable. You can go up and down. And this is something that I think she really highlighted this whole idea of, is it safe enough to try? Is it good enough for now? And she went with it. She took an idea and she quickly implemented it. And then she had fabulous online sessions, very, very good sessions, which for the longest time it was plaguing her. And when she did it, she took action on it, and then immediately she just made it happen. And you know what? She even recorded it for me, and then she asked me to review it, and I looked through it and said, wow, fabulous. Really, really good. It was a fantastic experience for her students. Even a simple thing, like this, and you know how people are taking ideas and then experimenting it and then trying different ways to make it happen. Okay, so this is very important. The next area, I basically, so okay, I'm just going to take a short pause for a while right now. You know, if you want to download all the ideas that I have, you know, and all the questions that I've used, you know, during the presentation, and especially in our consulting projects with clients, you can scan this QR code over here. Just scan the QR code, and then you will have access to basically all the notes for today. You know, I have very, very nice downloads for you. I put them all in very nice slides, and then all the questions are there as well. You can use with your team members, you know, in creating rapid change. Okay, just let's go to this QR code down here and just download. Okay, so I'm just curious, you know, while you are, you know, trying to download this, for those who are, you know, more available right now, I'm just curious, what is something that you feel that you have learned so far that is useful for you, that you feel that you want to apply quickly into your business right now? Can you please type in the chat right now? Okay, please type in the chat, the chat box. Okay, please type something right now in the chat. What is something that you feel that you need to do, especially with your team or your organization after this session, you know, after hearing what I've shared? Okay, can you please type in the chat right now? So this is a special download with key ideas and a summary sheet, okay, of everything. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you're done, please type in something into the chat right now. You know, what is something that you find it useful that can basically help you in your organization? Just type in something that you feel that is useful, something that you have learned so far that it will be useful. Okay, please type in the chat below. Thank you. Are you able to type something? Okay, looking to preferred outcomes and not being too introspective. Yes, yes. So if we want to help people to avoid always talking about the past and the failures, right? I want to suggest to you is to move the conversation always into the preferred future. Remember, people don't want to live with problems all the time. I'm very sure. They always have a grander vision of what things could be life, you know, what life could be for them in the preferred future. So get them to articulate, okay, you know, so if your life, if you are able to serve our clients at the highest level and you are and I are very happy with it, with our level of performance, what will be different? Okay, and all of a sudden, these conversations are future oriented. And the best part is it gives you clues to what you can do to start creating small steps towards this direction. Very good. Okay, so ask ourselves questions to provoke thinking and analysis. Yeah. So I always believe that a leader should, you know, rather than we tell so much, we should ask more rather than tell so much. Okay, just asking, you know, asking. That's why I always feel that the solutions focused questions are very, very important because they create possibilities. Okay, I'm just going to move on right now. Okay, the third area is basically, the third test is to basically check how fast an idea passes through the different layers of leadership. Okay, different layers of leadership. And so right now, you know, your people could be sharing ideas, they could be trying it out, but then the problem is sometimes you get stuck in their next immediate, you know, supervisor. Then the supervisor just throw cold water at them, and then they say, you know, good idea, but we could never give a lot of buts, a lot of reasons why it couldn't work. Okay, and this is very difficult. How fast an idea passes through the different layers. Okay, let me share with you a very interesting story of a client of ours. So what happened was, okay, let me just remove this for a while. Okay, so what happened was in this story, right? There was this particular manager. Okay, he received an email on all the good things, you know, of this program, what he could do for his staff, and he wanted to send this his staff, right, for training program. You know, he felt that it was really, really good. He read through and then he wanted to send. And then he sent them, you know. And after that, the HOD, right, the head of department, found out that this email was sent. And then, of course, he went to the manager and said, hey, you know, how come you didn't consult me? You know, you didn't ask. Then the manager was telling the HOD, I thought you said that, you know, if anything good, yeah, I can act on my own, you know, initiative. You know, I thought this was really good. And then I sent it to them because there was such a short time, you know, reply period. So I quickly signed everybody up for this program. And of course, the HOD went on saying that, yeah, it's a good program, but, you know, at least you should just inform me, you know, so that if anybody asks me anything, I will know how to answer, because it was quite a large department, and this involved a few countries, you know, that were involved as well. So if one country were to ask questions, at least the HOD know what to ask. So what happened was, after a while, it created a little bit of, you know, a little tension tension between the HOD and the manager, because the manager's frustration was, hey, I thought you empowered me, right, to do things, and then this decision, I don't feel supported at all. But of course, you know, the HOD's reply was, yeah, you know, I support you, but then there's always the but, right? But then I feel that, you know, just keep me in the loop. So that's the difference in the opinion, but you can see there's sometimes different viewpoints, and that creates a lot of tension as well. So I just have a very simple suggestion. Okay, suggestion. If you're facing this and this happens in your organization, so if a staff acts in good faith in doing what he or thinks right, is the best choice for that moment and has not negatively impacted the business, why not let them try? Yeah, why not let them try? Okay, I'm going to say it again. If a staff acts in good faith in doing what he or she thinks is the best choice for the moment and has not negatively impacted the business, why not let them try? And after a while, you realize, yeah, you know, we need to really empower people to move forward. And that's not easy. That's not easy, because you will have your different ways of thinking of how to do things. But remember, if there's no negative impact and it's the best choice for the moment, let's go ahead, because after all, it becomes a matter of opinion already. Okay, so remember to check how fast an idea passes through the different layers of leadership. That's key. So conclusion, what am I sharing? Okay, what am I suggesting to you? I think business agility is really, really important in today's climate, especially when things are not certain. So we need to be able to help our, you know, in most of my conversations with a lot of leaders, again, I work with a lot of leaders from global companies to sometimes to SMEs, and then we realize that a lot of leaders want their people to have what we call possibility thinking, to think about possibilities, and then quickly to move them quickly towards this possibility. And this can only be done, okay, when we focus on questions about the preferred future. That creates a whole different possibility, you know, that we are serving our clients at the highest level, and then at the same time, imagine if there are no more operational problems, what will be different? And this helps people to move from current reality into a different set reality. Okay, so check how fast you can take an idea and then reduce time to market. Okay, we always want to take ideas and then quickly move them quickly to the market. Okay, that's very important, because that's the only way you can monetize a strategy. The second thing that I talked about is basically how we should analyze how frequent our colleagues are experimenting with ideas, experimentation. So this whole idea of experimentation is very important. If you realize that nobody's experimenting, I'll be very concerned. Very concerned, because it means that you will always have to be the brilliant one, the leader, you know, to always think of all the ideas. Then the rest of people are just executing. But when they're experimenting, it shows that they are, you know, there's a certain level of risk that they are personally taking as well. And so sometimes as leaders, we need to basically help them to remove all these risks so that we help them to focus on what really matters, okay? And then the next thing is basically to check an idea and see how fast it passes through the different layers of leadership so they can move to market faster. Or some people can even say that we can even have a go-to-market strategy even faster. So I just want to leave off with one more last idea, you know. So in my book, you know, small steps to big changes, small steps to big changes. We basically focus on helping clients to focus on small steps. So imagine, you want to get people to start thinking radically, or maybe just thinking about how to move forward. Don't always talk about big changes all the time. Okay, maybe we just want them to win small and focus on a small change. What I want you to focus on is, in your language to your teams, just focus on, okay, I know these are all the changes that we need to have. I'm just curious, what do you think is one small step towards this change right now? Why small steps are important, not big steps? Because when you talk about big, people tend to talk about very big, airy, fairy action steps, and then end of the day, they might not even do it. Just wait for somebody to do it, or maybe the leader must do it, because you are empowered to, only you have the power to make the change. But when we create small steps, when we engage in a conversation to get people to talk about, okay, what's one small step forward that needs to happen right now so that this, change can happen quicker or faster. Small is easy. And you know what we found out? When people win small, they want to win more. Winning itself is highly motivational. You can be motivating your people, but then, when they don't see the small win enough in their lives, they don't feel motivated. So that's why small steps is very important to get people to keep moving forward. So what we can do is we can draw a scale of 1 to 10. Ask your people, where are we in this issue or this challenge that we have right now in organization? If it's a low number, don't worry. Focus on where do we want to be instead of this number. If we are 3, where do we want to be instead of this number? Then people will say usually higher, right? 8, 9, or 10. Then get them to describe this 8, 9, or 10. And then when they keep describing it, they start feeling, hey, maybe it can be done. Then they feel more optimistic about their preferred future. And then is to get them back into 3 again and then ask them, okay, what needs to happen right now within this month to move to a level 4? And when you have this type of conversations is what we call scaling conversations. These conversations are very easy to hold, and then it helps your people to focus on all the small steps that is necessary to move forward. Okay, and this is, remember, and when people win small, they want to win more, because winning itself is highly motivational. So, my last question is, what is your next small step? What is the next small step after this talk? So I invite you to connect with me, if you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even Facebook, okay, please, just scan the QR code and get link with me, or just type in Kenneth Kwan. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time.